Welcome to Introduction to Nonprofit Management. My name is Robin Bajent, and I will be your teacher for this course. Ta-da! This is the course overview video, so I did not include instructions for how to get into it because if you're listening to this, you're already here. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing that you see when you log into the course site is this welcome window or the dashboard. Off to the right, it has your list of to-do items, but be aware that they only show up the week before something is due. And there are some larger projects that I've given you additional time on, so you'll actually want to use this modules area as a guide for accessing your coursework. That's going to give you a better indicator of what is going on and what to expect. You can also go into the calendar, and that has due dates as well, broadcast out through the entire term so you can see what to expect. So you have general course icons here for things that you'll use for multiple courses, and then you have your course menu here. In the middle area is the primary communication piece that we'll use for the course. Each week I'll post different information. Some of it will be generic, some of it will be content specific, so make sure you read through that first. In the modules area, you have all of the work for the entire course. That includes all of the discussions. They're broken down in here. Any announcements that I'm sending out are here. People in the course, and you of course can see your grades at any given time. I try to get grades done at least within 7 days. During weeks 8 and 9, those are the two craziest weeks in the term, so there may be a little bit more backup at that time. Just letting you know ahead of time. Let's take a look and see what modules has. So we start off with how-to videos for how to do the different activities in Canvas. They're nice, easy, short, so if there's something you're not familiar with, go ahead and click on a video, watch a couple minutes, you'll be good to go. Next up is the syllabus. We'll go through that in just a little bit. After that is instructor information, and that's me. Ta-da! If you need to get a hold of me, this is my contact information. Please make sure that you include the course name in the course or in the email address or the not the address, in the topic subject line. Boy, it's been a long day already. Subject line of your email, and make sure that your name is in the body of your email. APA formatting is important. Everything in this course is done in APA formatting. If you're not familiar with how to set things up there, a variety of support features are available here, whether you prefer videos or examples or just the general writer's handbook. And then here are some generic expectations that fall within the APA of basics. Discussion expectations. You'll have a variety of discussions throughout the term. You need to have depth and breadth in your content. Take part at least a couple of days a week. By Wednesday night is your first posting. 2 additional postings by that following Sunday night. Respond to classmates. Basically, we're trying to recreate the class discussion feel. So that give and take, introducing new topics, asking each other questions, things like this. The nice feature for working online is you can easily bring in additional research and additional information. And I do expect you to do that in order to add to the depth and breadth of conversations. If this is your first term, you'll want to read through Being a Successful Online Student. And just a reminder, you can download Microsoft Office 2016. It is free to students. Before you get busy in your weekly work, you'll want to do a couple of housekeeping items. First, you'll post your personal introduction. That has to be up by Wednesday night, again, of week 1, so that I can use that for financial aid reporting. The second thing you'll want to do is set your Canvas preferences. Again, this is quick and easy. Just here's a video that walks you through profile and notification preferences. So make sure that you do that and then type completed when done. Then you're ready to get busy into your weekly work. You have 2 textbooks. One is Nonprofit Management, hence the acronym NM, and Grant Seeking, so GS. So you can see which textbook applies where based on that acronym. So this week, you've already watched the overview video, or at least you will by the time we're done here. You'll have 3 chapters to read and quiz on, and you're going to be interviewing a nonprofit manager. Note the different due date in this assignment. I give you a little extra time to get that done so you can locate someone. You will be working with a nonprofit to set up a grant proposal. So make sure, or at least it simplifies your life if you interview that same manager. So you start to build that connection. It's not a requirement that you do the same person, but it will save you some steps. Chapter 2 continues. This time you're reading chapters 1 through 3 of the Grant Seeking. A lot of the information in the Grant Seeking textbook is just general good information to be aware of. So for a lot of this, I'm having you read these chapters and then just type completed. We'll refer back to the information, and I do expect you to absorb the terminology and references that are talked about in the chapters, but for some of it, it's simply overview knowledge. Whereas with the nonprofit management textbook, you have actual exams or quizzes for those chapters because it's more specific information that needs to be in place, and you need to make sure that you've mastered that. We have a discussion about what help is needed in our community. So what kinds of things would be nice to have as far as nonprofits. And then we're going to visit with we're going to visit with Matt English, the grant writer for CSI. And we'll learn more about grant expectations and also what it is like to be a grant writer for an organization. You'll continue reading. You'll select your nonprofit that you're going to work with for the balance of the term. And then we'll start looking at what makes a strong board. Every nonprofit has a leadership board. So what traits are you looking for in someone that would be on your board? What do you want from those people? We'll work together to develop a list of funders. We will have each person answer questions about the organization that they've selected. And that's in your grant writing textbook. So those are specific questions that you'll use. Week 5, a little bit lighter. So you'll be just doing chapter reading. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the textbooks yet. They're fairly light reading. So that's kind of an easier chapter week. 1 chapter to read in week 6, a discussion on volunteer networks, and you're going to be developing an organizational resume. Again, this is from the grant writing textbook. Week 7, finally a breather, but you do have your organizational resume to be working on, so there is some overlap here. You're going to be working on a project idea for your fundraiser. So you'll be answering questions on pages 208 and 209 in your grant writing. And it starts to wrap up. You have a few more questions, a little bit more reading, And finally, your grant proposal is due at the end of toward the end of November, the 17th. It is assigned on the week 11, though, so be aware it's assigned at the beginning of November. Actually, I think it's the end of October when it's assigned, and it isn't due till the 17th. It is going to take you a while to write it, so don't procrastinate. You will hate life. Then we'll talk about nonprofit business ventures and what it takes to put one of those together, and the ins and outs of starting a nonprofit in general. Then you'll have Thanksgiving break, and when you come back from Thanksgiving break, you'll have grant presentations. So as if you're presenting to a board that you want that grant from, that you just applied for. Then you have a final exam, which is an overview video where you answer what you've learned in the term based on the outcomes. Let's take a look at the syllabus. Well, we have the general course information, Intro to Nonprofit, Fall 2019, instructor information. These are your 2 textbooks that you'll be using, and these are the ISBNs and information about each. Student learning outcomes are listed here. Here are the program learning outcomes if you happen to be in the BME program. These are the different topics that we're covering throughout the term. There are 3,440 points possible. I just grab points at random when I'm assigning things. I just assume you're going to do the work. I do not give D's, so it's either A, B, C, or F. If you need an incomplete, it's because you've had 3/4 of the term completed, and generally a medical emergency has come up, and there will need to be documentation for the school for that. General course expectations, play nice with others in the sandbox, etc., etc. There's some general support information that you'll want to read through and be familiar with, as well as the shared values that are in place for CSI. I've included a tentative course schedule so that you know what is going on for each week and the general number of hours it's likely to take for each assignment. It is in general. For example, it may not take you 2 hours to read chapter 1 and complete the quiz. It depends on how quickly you read and absorb information. It depends on how quickly you answer quiz questions. So it may take you a little longer or a little shorter. Keep in mind the 4 hours for the nonprofit management or nonprofit manager interview is over a course of a couple weeks, so it fits into whatever your time schedule is. And this takes you through the entire term, and it lists both the number of expected hours, the outcomes that are reflected, and the points possible. So that's the syllabus in general. As with the other items in the course, if you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, one other thing in the syllabus I wanted to bring to your attention. I have an online office hour on Wednesday evening, 7:30 to 8:30. This is the link. So if you have questions or you just want to get together and run some ideas by me or something, feel free. I will be there. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you this term.